Let's break it down with Hand of the Week.
We're back with another Hand of the Week. Patrick, back again. How you doing?
We're back, my friend. I'm doing very well.
We have a Hand of the Week this week, too. It's sent in by Philip Singh. He says, okay, guys, I have a hand that is going to be a little bit different. It's a little more like a situational Hand of the Week. So I'm not really sure what that means at this point, but let's see. He's playing in a tournament, a local tournament. There were about 60 players, but only the top 5 get paid in this one. We're down to the final 10 with each table playing hand for hand. So it sounds like 5 at each table then.
Okay.
Yep. I have 20 big blinds, and I'm in the big blind.
Okay.
We have the ace of spades, 4 of spades. It folds around to the cutoff, who bets 5 big blinds. The button folds and the small blind folds. Now he says, before I go further, let me tell you about the cutoff. He is a rec player who seems to be knowledgeable. We started at the same table, and I didn't see him make any obvious mistakes. However, when I left the table, he had a moderate stack, and at this table, he's grown that stack significantly and has about 30 to 35 big blinds. So, it's going to cost us 5 of our 20 big blinds to stay in this hand. So, a quarter of our stack. With the ace of spades, 4 of spades. What do you think?
No. I mean, yes, I love having the ace. I love having, the flush draw. But if we're down to, my personal opinion, you tell me, your thought process on this, because, there's a little bit of a learning thing here, but I don't want to put a quarter of what I have left, especially playing in a tournament this close, in on an ace-4 suited. That doesn't scream high probability to me. I know we're in the big blind, and I know we've already put in, but
right.
I'd rather, I would rather say, hey, good for you. Here you go, and here's my big blind, and let's go.
Ace-4 suited's not great. You're right. We are only 5-handed though, so that makes it look a little bit better.
It does.
It sounds like the cutoff doesn't want us to call with a 5 big blind raise. So that means we can put him...
Correct. I thought the exact
so we can put him on some kind of middling pair maybe. If we wanted to get really crazy, which I don't recommend this one, but if we wanted to get really crazy, because he doesn't want to call, we could maybe put the pressure back on him and completely just shove it all in.
Okay, so that's funny you say that, because my thought was like, okay, well, if we call here, then we've got 15 big blinds left. It's going in anyway. At some point between now and the end of this, it's all going in, so why not do it now? It was almost like, and I didn't know where your thought process was going to go, but it was either like a all in or not.
Right.
I mean, so I went with the not, only because, again, ace-4 suited is not the greatest. Smaller handed, we're feeling a little bit better, but, if he calls and he's sitting there on, jacks.
Right. I mean, even
like
6s, 7s, and 8s. I mean, those are basically the same as jacks because we have to hit an ace to win in that case. But I do feel like because we're in the big blind, I want to make the call. Which is, I think I've talked about this on Hand of the Week before. I am a sucker for not wanting to fold my big blind. So we will continue my leak here in the Hand of the Week.
So for everyone that's going to log in and play on May 9th, Joe's going to play anything. He really likes pocket deuces, especially on the big blinds.
Well, I mean, I don't want to go crazy, but I do feel like, just in all seriousness, though, I feel like if we call here 5 big blinds. We still have 15 left. So we can still make some moves. We can still get out of the way if this flop is not great, right?
Correct. That is true. Yes.
So I'm gonna call, and that's what Philip does as well.
Okay.
We're heads up to the flop, which is the 2 of spades, 3 of spades, 8 of hearts. Now here's where this is interesting, because the cutoff quickly bets 15 big blinds out of turn. But as he does this, as he bets the 15 big blinds out of turn, the tournament director announces that 2 players were eliminated at the other table and were at the final table with 8. He said earlier only 5 get paid. So we're down to 8 now. It's our turn to act. And Philip says, if I don't change the action, his bet will stand. But if I bet, then he can take his bet back and will have all the options available to him. Call, raise, fold, etc. Well, just call, raise, fold. There is no etc. So what do we do here? And my first thought, before you say anything, my first thought is, I don't want to turn this into like another call the floor segment, but I wonder if he knows that for sure, or if he's assuming that's the rule, because I have seen in other rooms where they'll kind of penalize the person that bets out of turn, to where if I change the action, then that takes away their raise option.
Ability.
So then they can either call or they can fold. If that's the case, then you just get away really cheap, because you just bet you bet minimum and then you get into it for 1 big blind. But we're going to go on the assumption that Philip knows the rule of this home poker room, and that is the way it will be. So if we don't change the action, then his 15 big blinds will stand. If we do change the action, then he has all options available to him.
Let me ask you this before we get into what we think. Is, not to age you, but in your many years of experience, put politely, did the cutoff do that on purpose just to be that guy?
I'm gonna say no, and I mean,
okay.
Have
you seen it before? Do you see it very often in tournaments and stuff? I have not played a lot of tournaments. I play a lot of home games, but I don't play a lot of tournaments. Like, is that like not to get into hockey because not everyone's going to know, but like, are you the little bit of the nitpicker, the rat that kind of pushes the limits a little bit? Is that what that guy was doing, a little needling?
I don't think so. I think he got really excited.
Okay.
I think he's like, that board is under my pair, so I'm shoving. Or maybe he had it in his mind, I'm shoving regardless. Maybe he has a big pocket pair like aces or kings or whatever, and is just excited. Get it in, right?
All right. So back to the situation at hand. So the bet on the table is 15. We get to act however we want to as far as that goes. And then, without the one piece of information that I wish I knew is what were normal bet sizes like. Like, is 5 big blinds a normalcy? It didn't sound like it was. And the reason that I say that, if I wanted to know, was a little bit more of like, if I've still got 15 left, he's that excited, or he's, that trying to come over the top, whatever. Is 15 enough to still play and get me to the top 5? And it sounds like it is a little bit to me, at least I'm taking it that way. So I am probably folding, because it's probably going to take all of my chips to play this. Obviously we are on a very nice draws, plural. Draws plural. I don't know why I'm being conservative. Maybe it's the tournament. It's got me going. I don't know. Maybe a little nervous from May 9th. I don't know. But I'm folding.
I don't understand if you're playing it from Philip's point of view. If we make the call, then this is the best you could hope for right now. We've got straight draw, we have flush draw, we have the straight flush draw. I mean,
you're absolutely right, you know what? I would have played it anyways. I would not have made the call, beforehand, so I wouldn't have been in it. But playing Philip's hand, absolutely. You call this, you flip your cards over very proudly, and you go,
exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah, you cannot hope for a better flop than that.
You're finishing 8th, or you're probably going to be close to a very good chip lead.
Right. You're folding. I'm definitely calling and proudly calling. Philip says, I actually tank for a minute and end up checking, which makes his 15 big blind bet stand, and it comes back to me again. He says, I tanked again at this point and even turned my cards up to try to get a reaction of some kind, and nothing. Philip says, I ended up folding, but the dealer obliges me a rabbit hunt, so I let him run it out. And it turns out I would have hit my flush with the 7 of spades. Cutoff tells me he had a set of 8s, but didn't show. So I don't understand why you make that call and get that flop and then fold. If you had, if you had even just hit your 4, fine, I get it. Let it go. If the flop came out just a bunch of random cards that completely missed us, then fine, I get it. Fold and see what you can do with your 15 big blinds. But with that flop, I just don't understand why you would ever fold that.
Correct. In my humble opinion, I would not have played the handed at all. I'm not stuck on the big blinds. I play big blinds thought process, but not that it's a bad one. But I don't play that to start with. But yeah, I think when you do, I think you are absolutely right. I think Philip probably sent this in with a thought process of obviously, we talk about this every single week, and people probably get tired of saying it, so I'm not going to even say it. But something looking back on something else is, I think he's probably thinking, like, why didn't I, or should I have? And that's what he basically asked was, once you get to there, you've got your flush draw, you've got your straight draw, nothing's paired on the board right out the gate. You're in the best situation absolutely possible, other than your 5th card coming out and you flop the nuts. Other than flopping the nuts, you're in the greatest position you could be in.
Also, I don't understand why you rabbit hunt. I don't understand why you have the dealer run it out, because all it's going to do is cause you pain. You made your decision, move on.
The people want to know, Joe.
All it's going to do is make me think about that forever. Like, if I would have called. Philip does say, I did go on to win the tournament.
Let's go. All right. I feel a lot better, Philip. This is what I'm talking about.
And coincidentally, I was heads up against the same guy.
Shut the front door. That's
so
awesome.
Congrats on that. I'm glad it worked out. And, maybe if you would have made the call, then you would have been heads up against somebody else, because they would have been down to 15 big blinds and maybe not as skilled as you were to be able to run that up. So maybe it worked out for you after all. Well, obviously it worked out. You won the tournament.
Clearly in this tournament, it worked out very well for you.
The only difference is maybe you made a little more work for yourself to win the tournament, but congratulations on getting it done. So,
absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you sending that in, Philip. If anyone has a hand of the week that they would like Patrick and I to break down, send it to podcast@anteupmagazine.com. Patrick, we'll do it again next week.
You got it, guys.